Andy has said, writes Kelly, that the Fed issued 3 times more notes than coins during World War I,
Yes.
and that caused 1929 Great Depression.
Yeah. The
But
Eugene Meyer duplicate bond scheme. Exactly.
I beg your pardon. So we'll come back to that. But didn't it cause the 1920-21 Depression instead, and was the 29 Depression instead caused by too much deficit spending in the roaring 20s? If not, how does the 2021 Depression figure into all this, the spending
I would argue
during World War I?
Here you go. So the 2021 Depression would be the equivalent of the '07 crisis. And the 29 crash is the equivalent of what's going to happen after Deutsche Bank hits the shoals. So that 2021 depression was a precursor. It's kind of like the rumbling before the earthquake. And it was solved by more of the same. So that problem was papered over, the 2021 depression, instead of allowed to make its wash, which historically, it's like the burning of the forest. All the debts, the bad debts, are rectified and only sound assets rise to the top. So instead, through a combination of deficit spending and monetary creation, they leaned against the wind, and we came out of the 2021 depression, but in it set the seeds for the 29 crash. Because again, far more money was created and put into circulation than existed to pay. So the notes outnumbered lawful money by 3-1 at the crash of 29. How much of that was injected during 20 to 21? Well, just enough to get it out of a depression state. It was more of a recession because they injected immense amounts of capital. So no, I would argue that the 20 to 21 recession was part and parcel of the Great Depression. And caused by, again, the duplicate bond scheme foisted upon the American public by Eugene Meyer, Meyer. Let's find the connections there between Eugene Meyer and Katharine Graham, and boy, you've got yourself a good story to tell.
Wasn't she the head of the Washington Post?
The one and the same.
Katharine Graham.
Yes.
And there's quite a...
Yeah.
Quite
a trail.
Really? Eugene Meyer.
Eugene Meyer. Yeah, Eugene Meyer. So what Eugene Meyer did was issue duplicate bonds.
Oh.
So if, the Treasury was issuing a bond for $1 million, he issued another one for $1 million. And never
How do you do that?
Through a printing press like everybody else, and through his position high up in the Federal Reserve and his ability to get that bond into circulation without anyone knowing.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a duplicate bond scheme.
Eugene Meyer duplicate
bond scheme.
How much did he do? A lot?
Well, a lot more than we'd like to know.
Did he get caught?
And he got caught, but did he get prosecuted? That's the key.
Did he?
No, he did not.
No kidding.
He like Hillary, the fix was in. His connections kept him out of jail, as have a great many others. I mean, by now, it should not be a surprise to the American public. Justice is not blind. It's not blind at all. It's very politically aware and astute. I think justice should be the scales taken out of her hands, the blindfold off her face, put her in a 3-piece business suit, or better yet, one of those racing overalls with all the stickers of her sponsors, because, justice is what you can afford. That's the justice you get in the United States.